Hey, and we're live. It's Spence. It is Friday, May 9th, 2025. The sun is out in Chicago. It is a gorgeous day. However, it is brutally cold. I think it is about 45 degrees right now, but on the way to 75. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to do a quick mic check because my system couldn't be better. I love it. It's a good omen. I'm actually going to be updating my entire system this weekend. I promised myself a little gift because my little PC Nook box is not able to do like the little engine that could. It's not able to do the stuff I want to do with some of the new tools, including Canva's AI, including the Rode Podcaster mic, including some of the camera settings. So I'm going to give myself a little treat this weekend with a slight upgrade. I am always and forever a computer geek. Today is a very unusual office hours because I want to talk about transformation. I want to talk about evolution. I want to talk about growth. I want to talk about the business of building a successful online business. And I want to do it demonstratively by talking about what I've done here with what I'm now calling the Minute Launch System. The Minute Launch System is the evolution of what you guys pretty much know. I mean, those of you who show up here on a regular basis know is previously called Launch Kit. And I want to walk through a couple things in order to explain what this means for you and your business opportunities online. First of all, let me set the stage. And I want to say, if you guys could do me a favor, just say hi, say hi, say hi. I'm going to go on my other computer here and I'm going to log in as Spence. I'm going to say hi. Hello. Can somebody say how I'm sounding on your end? Okay. And just wave. Let me set the stage. First of all, good morning, John. Hola. Let me know if everything sounds and looks good because I'm always on the question mark. I want to set the stage. Those of you who know my origin story know that I really started out way back when as an entrepreneur when I was 10 years old. And in technology, this came about as a bit, thank you, John, bit of an accident. I'm going to go over here to spencerforeman.com. Let's put this up on the screen in a bigger way because this really does come. John and several other of you have been in this. Some of you have been in the conversation with me about where is all of this going. So I share my story publicly. I've been an entrepreneur. I was in the real estate market, single dad, divorce, child custody, blah, 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 blah. It seems like almost ancient history. There's two of my three kids. My oldest son lives in Palo Alto now. He has a successful business teaching soccer coaching. I want to use the term transformation. Transformation means that I don't believe that any of us are really static in what we do. And given that the nature of the world is so quickly evolving between the technology and the tools, in fact, I'll talk about it in a second, but last evening I had an argument with my father, who I'm very happy to say is still alive in his 80s, because he started to invest in quantum computers. And I tried to explain to him what quantum computers means. It means that all of the bets that we've previously made are off, because in the past, there used to be physical limitations to how people grew businesses. Getty Oil, Rockefeller Oil, Getty with the steel industry, I believe was his industry, right? The idea was that there was the railroad systems, there was limits to what could be built in the past, even in the computer system, the chip business. Between quantum computing, AIs, the ability for an individual like you or me to do things by ourselves that were previously requiring a huge investment of capital, as well as going through gatekeepers. Educational limitations. Good morning, Julie. I'm glad you can make it today. We are in an all bets off situation. We don't any longer have gatekeepers. The things that even when I started in this industry as software, you used to need a SaaS. Well, actually before that, you used to need software that you would buy with a license to download. Then you needed hardware. I was just joking about the hardware. When I started, it was because I flew these aircraft that I wanted to take videos and photographs from. But in those days, to make like a little postage stamp size video required $10,000 of hardware equipment and all day to process, and a camera the size of a briefcase that you'd have to carry on your shoulder. And if you were lucky, then a few people could see it because there wasn't a distribution network like YouTube or all the cloud computing. People didn't have high-speed internet, so to download your postage stamp would have taken a day for somebody to look at. And last evening, I was even joking with my 21-year-old who's very much into technology about just how amazing all of this is. Today, you could start a business for yourself on a topic of your choice. You could actually be an intermediary, which is to say, like a franchisor with franchisees. I was speaking to many of you about that, Julie and John in particular. Almost all of you have this. Anne, Nutritionify. All of you have the opportunity to address an audience of people who could buy from you the solution that you curate. But now the solution you curate that you get from me as a wholesaler does not have any of the price or the cost limitations or the complications that previously existed. Even in the early days of being online, when I started with things like the Ning network and so forth, before Facebook and WordPress, there was a limit to what you could do, how you could do it, what it would cost. And that's why I was actually lucky enough to be successful, because even the companies themselves were having trouble pumping out the features. One last example of that before I go into some of the details. Look at how things are being scrambled up, even for somebody like Zuckerberg, who I think less of today than I did when he first started. Facebook was a promise of people getting together, social networking, sharing information, and having this great environment that was share, 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 all for the benefit of human beings. We now see he's scrambling around trying to do any business he can that he's not really hiding it anymore is to his benefit. But the counter to that is that you or I could start businesses on the benefit or for the benefit of people that are in our audience that give the promises that we want to make. In other words, that our clients own and control their data. They own and control their privacy. We can assuage their fears or concerns about AI coming in and taking over their jobs or involving their relationships. Even in the WordPress space with Mullenweg, we have this amazing opportunity that full circles that I can deliver to you out of this entire mess of a flea market, the exact pieces that you need in order to achieve what you want without all the complications. Now, let me give you a reference as to what I'm about to show you. One of the people that has done extremely well in the past and continues to just kill it is somebody like a Russell Brunson. ClickFunnels. If you don't know what ClickFunnels are, Russell Brunson is one of the guys that took over from all the classic marketers like the Billy Mays and the Ron Popeils of my day, that you see, the Bill Sugarmans, or the people that used to be on TV and print ads back in my day for things like the Sharper Image or the Pocket Fisherman or whatever. Russell Brunson took classic sales letter marketing and turned it into a platform. And ClickFunnels itself is well known for not only being successful, but it takes people like this lady, very lovely, Eileen Wilder. She was just a stay-at-home mom who had a lot of trouble financially and didn't know what she was going to do. She was able to create essentially a business around the information that she felt she could be an expert at, and sold famously $1 million in 1 week. I am not promising you that your business will sell $1 million in 1 week, but what I'm saying is Russell Brunson created years ago a software platform that, quite frankly, is subpar to what we have available to us in WordPress, and I'll explain why. But he made it economical. He made it focused on the success of the outcome that an ordinary person could have if they simply used the tools and the applications and followed some simple processes. Now, I have for years used many of the things that he discusses because they're marketing techniques, things like a value ladder, things like start with a lead magnet, then you have your tripwire, then you have your primary offer, then you have your upsell. But those things are just marketing. The platform of tools that ClickFunnels offers is available for a pricing model that I want to use as the inspiration for where the next step of the minute launch is, because it makes sense. Let's take a look, for example, just to start this at that. If you look at the monthly plans of ClickFunnels, and I'm going to show a couple of the references, watch the commonalities. Unlimited plan, free 14-day trial. By the way, I don't do 14-day trials ever. What I do instead is money back guarantee for 1 month. It's the same thing in reverse. The difference is they say 14-day trial, but you still have to give a credit card. It's the same thing. They're just doing a 2-week free, no money, money back offer. I'm doing a 4-week. Startup, $97 a month. Pro, $297 a month. Let's come back to this for a second. There's some details. Let's go to another company in the CRM space that offers the same kinds of features that ClickFunnels, and in this case, ClickFunnels actually doesn't do CRM, but that we offer using the Minute Launch system. This is a company that I had direct relationships with, and I was teaching and training people to use, even though we have WordPress, because it acts as a CRM for the WordPress-based system, even though it has its own features. Let's see the commonalities. Hey, what about that? $97 a month for a single site, $297 a month for all your clients. Let's go over to another famous success story, Nathan Barry. This is a CRM also. It's an email marketing platform, but let's look at the commonalities. $199 a month, $279 a month. This actually slides up, which starts to become a reason why the Minute Launch is a better option. But they're doing a service of delivering emails, so I have to give them credit. This is more of a email delivery platform and a marketing platform second than a marketing and a CMS first with email added on. Nevertheless, there's a commonality in how you do it. There's a couple other ones. Let's look at Circle, SO, for social networking. We have social networking built in natively, has all those capabilities to expand upon either the primary business you're doing or your clients do, or provide the community features. What do we see here? If you, is this monthly even? I think this is probably monthly. This might be set up as an annual. Let's see if there's a slider. This actually slides up. You can see this sliding up too with the email part that they do a la carte. But let's just use it as an example. I don't know if this is set to monthly or not. $89 a month, $199 a month. And then for the features that we actually have in Minute Launch, it starts going to $419 a month and more. And then finally, here's, I don't know why they have a quiz right on the front page. Here's my origin story. Gina Bianchini now, instead of Ning, it's Mighty Networks. They do not have even a fraction of the features, but we do see a commonality. First of all, $49 a month is a joke because that doesn't do anything. $119 a month, $219 a month, $430 a month. And again, doesn't do even a fraction of the features, but just to show when business owners are starting a business, these are you or the people that might be in your network that you might be selling to. There is a commonality of expectation in a world where buying lunch, I had lunch with my friend yesterday, I had lunch with my son the day before. Lunch for 2 people at a reasonable family restaurant is going to set you back $80 to $100. It really sucks and hurts my heart to say that, but it's going to set you back $40 to $50 a piece for a normal lunch with an entree, a drink, maybe something like an appetizer. We had guac and chips and a couple entrees. I think we were at $70, even at a normal restaurant. So in that world, to pay $97 a month for your base business, the thing that you generate your livelihood from, or for your customers to do the same, is ridiculously inexpensive. To pay $297 a month is average when you think about all of the things that you accomplish in one box. But now when you sprinkle on top of this all of the things that you've already seen in the last 12 months of what I'm doing here, and before that, with now the AI integration, the full ownership and control, the ability to basically do anything for anybody, anywhere, the value proposition is crazy ridiculous. And I've got things to demonstrate this that I not only post on the site, but like I haven't posted this yet. I've got from Megan Fiffner. Thank you from Ann. Ann Stevenson brought her in as a client. She is one of Ann's clients that she brought in who wrote me a personal postcard and mailed it. I can't tell you how awesome this is to get a personal postcard. By the way, She's in New York. It's like one of the few pieces of actual physical mail I get. That warmed my heart. In addition to things like Bernie Smith, one of my favorite clients here, who I posted up the video that he sent in to me about his experience. And he's a professional trainer in the UK about using a system. By the way, I noticed that I'm not on the camera here. Here's Bernie. He's a professional marketer, has high ticket clients, kind of, if you think about it, just like Eileen Wilder, the story here with her $1 million a day. She gets online, she gets on the stage, she has high ticket clients. They pay $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 and up for her to basically give them what they need to succeed in their business. Okay. So I'm not trying to get too terribly animated here, but what I want to do, and let's just put me in a spot I can leave this alone. What I want to do is impress upon you that the value proposition of what I've been offering to you here is based upon 3 key elements. And I'll show this slide again, but let me go back over here. When we look at my traditional pricing model, the thing that I started with to see if this would work. And by the way, seeing if it works means I had 18 years, tens of thousands of customers who had some variety of this. But the difference was in the first 18 years in WordPress, we didn't have all the high-end features. We didn't have all the software. We didn't have the infrastructure. We didn't have AI. We didn't have high-speed bandwidth everywhere, anytime. We didn't have people that have 16 different devices in their hand that are more powerful than the Apollo computers. We had all this kind of like getting where we're going stuff, and you always had a limitation somewhere. But the basic premise was, if I can take WordPress, the ultimate flea market, and I can go from the situation that has been traditionally always the problem. People just built their own Frankenstein monsters, or they did what I call shiny ball syndrome, which is another word for the little old lady swallowed a fly. Then she swallowed a spider to catch the fly. And she swallowed a bird to catch the spider. I don't know why she swallowed the fly. Well, I do know. I know that she swallowed the fly because WordPress under Mullenweg's leadership has been created as this amazing opportunity for open source software with zero top-down direction about what people should do with it. In other words, it's a flea market where random people show up at random times and different vendors treat people differently than others. Everybody is competing at the flea market to get the attention of somebody like you walking by. And even the agency owners, John can speak to this, treat their customers with varying degrees of disdain or distrust or ambivalence or whatever. And so for you as a customer trying to build a business for yourself or a top-down ecosystem where you're the franchisor and you have franchisees, or Anne who's trying to do Nutritionify, or Julie who's trying to do this in the skeet shooting business, you have infinite amounts of problems because either the technology has some fatal flaw from one of the vendors, or none of the vendors will take ownership and control over the whole experience. I approach it differently. I approach it like Russell Brunson. I approach it like Nathan Barry. I approach it like somebody who all the time since day one for 20 years when I started in Ning, sold the customers on Ning, on myself and my partner at the time, are here for you to fill in all of the pieces that are missing from this otherwise free platform and make it simply priced. And so, one more thing on this. When we did these solutions, the traditional pricing I have here was 3 things for $97 a month. Okay. You got all of the software with none of the problems. In other words, the software bundle itself has thousands upon thousands, maybe $6,500 worth of software curated as a system, each of them doing the good morning, Kurt, each of them curated as the best feature in class, but more importantly, documented like Ingvar from IKEA as a system that works with anything else that we sell. Does this mean that you can't use other software? Of course not. You can, you should if you need to. But if you do that, if you go to IKEA with a piece of wood and a knife and you say, I'm carving a chair, can I find a table to match? It's on you to manage the chair. The guy in the yellow vest manages all the other things that could be just snapped together over a couple meatballs and a sweet roll at lunchtime. So all the software, here's the key thing, unlimited email consultation. Somebody right here taking ownership and control from the top down of the entire system instead of the random flea market coming from WordPress and Mullenweg all of these years now that allows chaos to reign. Why is it so difficult to see that we can offer the best of everything to somebody who is a smart business owner and provide a concierge level of service? I tell the story all the time of how I love to go to my favorite place, Toronto, Canada, to watch the Maple Leafs, sometimes play the Chicago Blackhawks. When I go there, I stay at the original Four Seasons Hotel, right up the main street there. Why? Because for a couple bucks extra, there's a person at the desk who just gives me everything I need and all the answers I need about what's going on today in Toronto. There's construction, there's traffic, this restaurant's closed. I can get you into the game. Why would I pay a little bit less money to go to some Motel 6 and then ruin the entire trip? Sometimes that concierge service comes at a cost that's less than what it would cost me if I did it all myself. In the same way that if you look at the software bundle in WordPress, if you randomly try to figure out in 2025 which of the plugins you need out of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, you've become somebody who's trying to build a software platform. And none of you, I 100% can guarantee, none of you can do that. Why? Because I have spent every waking moment of every day for almost 18 plus years doing this, and I love it. And I'm still an idiot when I wake up in the morning, because every day there's a new surprise from one of the people in this ecosystem who made one of the plugins who decided to just pretend like none of the other people existed. Or even from the core of WordPress, which is awesome. They decided today we're going to break the core. And that means that you have to spend all your waking moments every day worrying about what breaks in core, what breaks with the plugin. And worse, each of these individuals has been left by Mullenweg to their own devices to try to spray paint your car and spray paint the bridge with advertisements and buy my pro thing and do this and do this and do this and do this. And that's madness, because how can you go into IKEA if everywhere you went, there was a person hawking the table and hawking the bed and hawking this chair and trying to sell you this and tricking you into giving you money and giving them money and then not giving it back, like Awesome Motive and Syed? Nobody could deal with that. And nobody who's running a business can deal with trying to figure out, how does AI fit into all this? How do I make systems that work? That's why ClickFunnels is so awesome. It sucks as software. It's awesome because that is curated. That's why Go High Level is so awesome. The price and the curation. That's why Nathan Barry's CRM is so awesome. The curation and the ability to just use it for a known price. And the people will take ownership and responsibility for the system. That's why Circle is so popular, even compared to Buddy Boss, because they take ownership and control for a fixed price. That is the nature of what I've been doing here. And then finally, the hosting. Now, I am blessed because there's 600 hosting partners with whom I can do business. I currently am in love with Rocket.net, but Ben Gabler and Chad and Jeff there are amazing. We are not in a you have to use Rocket or I have to use Rocket. I use Rocket right now as one of maybe several partnerships, but certainly my primary, because if you use the hosting that I know does this, and this, you avoid breaking the stuff that you're going to get from me in terms of software. You avoid having to become a hosting expert. You know, there were years when there were 60, 70 different phones available, and now we all have a phone that looks like this. I have a picture of me and two of my boys on it. Yours has a picture of you and your kids on it, but they're still basically shaped like this. There used to be 60 of them. Ben and Chad and Jeff are amazing. And Rocket is amazing. I'm also talking to some other hosts that want to be amazing because they understand that the hosting business is a race to the bottom. Race to the bottom. 600 companies competing on zero differentiators other than, you guessed it, the basic technology, which should be cloud computing and not caching the hell out of you randomly, security with the enterprise CDN, and personal support. But guess what? If you're staying here with me in the Four Seasons, if you're coming to IKEA, why should you be having to go to another store, another hotel to get the hosting? I'm putting it in the bundle because that's how I make it possible to ensure that every single customer has the same experience. And now several of you who are here today have experienced what it's like when you have another host from a random agency or that you picked yourself, and I think I'll save $5 and squeeze a nickel into 6 pennies. No offense. You get exactly what you pay for. The shit is broken. The stuff randomly doesn't work. You don't know why. Because I have the advantage of tens of thousands of experiences using a standardized set of stuff, and I can see the storms coming way before you do. And because the way I deliver it is through the custom interface that allows me to give you 100 plus plugins with no licensing, aggravation, with no keys, with no paying your credit card to 107 different people, that's like going to one store. That's like going to one hotel. That's like having one person, me, who hopefully I've demonstrated quite clearly, and I have thousands of testimonials, who is going to take ownership and control over the most important thing in the world, the human relationship with you and your customers. And that's why I get these crazy, awesome things like postcards. Okay. Maybe somebody else like Russell, I'm sure he's getting tens of thousands of these and always has, but not a lot of people in the WordPress ecosystem are getting that, I would bet. I'm pretty sure if you buy random plugins from random people that you're not getting postcards about how awesome the stuff is as a system, because they're having the little old lady swallowed a fly problem. Okay, now let's take a breath for me. Let's talk about the evolution, the transformation. One of the things that's happened to me, which I share with you openly, is that the varying maturity of my mindset and of my physicality from having to go through both 20 years of building a business from scratch, coming from one industry to another, having single dad status, raising 3 kids into adults and successful human beings, having thousands upon thousands of personal interactions. Like I've mentioned, I got the award for some reason from Fathom of I'm the top 4%, the top 438 people or something. I forget what the number was of Fathom users, because I had hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of calls last year because I love talking to you guys. You are the juice. You are the sweetness. You are the best part of what I do, because I get to talk to you. I get to experience what you're going through. You get to tell me about your lives and your interesting businesses and your families. And many of you become very close friends. That is the part that I love. And in order to learn what makes you tick, what makes your businesses tick, in order to build the minute launch system, I had to put the work in. I had to have 438 calls or whatever it was last year with individuals, 438 hours plus all the time on the back end, in order to learn what things go with what and build it into the minute launch system. I couldn't do that randomly. I couldn't do that by just copying some bullshit from somebody. But in doing so, I needed to evolve what it is. And this is still too complicated. Even this, it's the same parts, slightly too complicated. Why? Well, my dear friends and clients, including Anne and others, have indicated through their actual use with customers some of the things that are wrong with this. So, introducing, the Minute Launch System 2025 pricing. It's essentially the same stuff, but it's really simplified. My whole business is basically now boiled down to this with a cherry on top. And this means for you greater opportunities on maybe 2 or 3 levels. Let's talk about what I've got in here. And I apologize because this is slightly small. I can zoom it up a bit. Number 1, just like the other businesses, startup, $97 a month. If you multiplied that times 12 kids, that's roughly $1,200 a year. Okay. Take 12 times 3, 36, comes out to, I think, $1,164 or something a year. The point is, it's roughly $1,200 for my 58-year-old brain. If you pay in advance a year, you get 2 months free. So it's easy to see. It's what everybody else does. It's the most logical way to discount. It's roughly 16% discount, $97 a month, $970 a year. This is cancel anytime, leave anytime, take it all with you anytime, because I've got nothing to lose. It's all the software, open source. Once you stop using my services of either the hosting or the email, I don't own you or control you. You can take it to go. And it's unlimited use of the software. If you take a $97 a month account, you can use the software everywhere and anywhere. I don't care. Does that mean that you can't? No, of course you can. You will not have the access to the convenient tools to install it necessarily, because the account will allow you to do it automatically from one account, but you still have the software. You still have all the stuff that you built. I would never, ever, never, based on the experience, lock everybody or anybody in, because that's what went wrong with the Ning network. We built a business of 12,500 happy customers, and the lawyers came in with an axe and killed 12,500 of their clients because they were spiteful that somebody else came in and, with their own permission, made those customers happy when they couldn't figure out how to do it. And you've seen this all the time in some of the SaaS networks today, from Twitter and Facebook and everybody else, this banning you and using your data and doing all kinds of nefarious stuff. I believe in the open source movement. You own it, you control it. And this is fantastic, because some of you have businesses around men's health or female health, about nutrition, about personal privacy subjects, about cannabis, about you name it, sexual related stuff. It's your business, it's your data, it's your clients, it's your stuff. You pay while you're using it, leave anytime. If you pay by the year, you get the value proposition that's easy to understand. This includes, just like it does now, all the software with the launch kit, which I'm going to be calling the Minute Launch installer. It's going to be rebranded with the proper thing. By the way, let me explain one thing. The reason that I'm switching from Launch Kit to Minute Launch is also because there seems to be like 150 people using the term Launch Kit, and there's 0 people using Minute Launch. So it's easier for me to say Minute Launch System, Minute Launch Kit, than to say Launch Kit, because Launch Kit is just confused. I still give you the unlimited email support, which is essential. John is one of the people who pays a la carte at the moment for the email support. He's ultimately become a member of the other things. But the thing is, he just needed somebody to always be there at the front desk. Hey, what do I do about this? Can I brainstorm that? Email only support is something that I can scale, because I can answer 200, 300, 400, 500 emails a day, as long as they're just like, ask me one question at a time. Don't send me an Encyclopedia Britannica. If you want hands-on help, that's fine. That's the cherry on top. But for this, I can really give personal email answers to the whole range of everything in, you got it, wearing the yellow vest, IKEA. We have the Launch Club. That is the office hours today, plus the club. None of you guys are using it much yet, but I know it's going to become really important soon. The Launch Club is using the same tools for the social network. I have very famously explained, I have a club of 10,000 pilots at trikepilot.com. I grew that from doing the same things that I love to do here, meeting people, talking to people, learning what makes them tick. I run it on Facebook at the moment. Oh, it's up to 11,200, excuse me. I don't really actively do stuff here anymore because I currently don't have an aircraft. I used to, but the point is, I'm going to probably move this back over to the system when I have a spare weekend or something. But the point is, I'm very familiar after running this since 1999, kids. Yes, there's a 1 and a 9 in front of that. How to run a successful social network. And that's why I'm an authority on how to do that here. So you get a social network and office hours. You get, this is a new thing I'm going to come to in a second, the quick launch weekly setup. But in the meantime, I include one hosting account. Now, do you have to use that for your live site? No. Should you? Yes. Why? Because this is the same account that I give to you built into the price of 97, that if you went to rocket.net is a value at $30 a month. I give it to you essentially built into your 97 a month because I can. I have agency pricing. This is better than what you'd go to WP Engine and spend $150 for, or Kinsta and spend $80 a month for. Why? Because they know how to do a modern cloud-based CDN protected network and have incredible personal support. I've done this before, but if I was to log in here and say, hi, George, he would be, hey, Spence, what's going on? Try doing that at Kinsta. Try doing that at WP Engine. Try doing that anywhere. Not going to happen. You get me plus a personal relationship where I can call up the hosting guys directly and get you just about any answer anytime. But for me, it's a selfish thing, because if you use my hosting, I can give you a unified experience that tens of thousands of people have and never have to guess what the hell is wrong with the hosting company that you just picked, right? Chime in here, John, if you want. Give me a high five on that, because that's what many of you have had, a hosting company that was standing in your way. Okay, let me talk about this quick launch weekly setup. One of the things that I had done in the past, and what I really feel I'm at now, is I used to do a weekly Q&A, which is to say, imagine a situation where if instead of you having to set up for yourself or your client this individual site, from just putting the plugins in and following directions, what if Spence provided you what I've been demonstrating in past office hours was like what we call Mad Libs. Mad Libs is a game I grew up on. Let's see if I can get a picture. Yeah. Mad Libs is a game that I grew up on that looks kind of like this. It was a story. Hey, kids, it was very simple back in 1979. It was a story, and you'd ask your friends in the language arts class, give me an adjective, give me a room in a house, give me a verb, give me a relative's name, give me a noun. And you would write it down. They would shout it out. You'd write it down, and then you'd read the story, right? It was a very cold November day. I woke up to the big smell of pigeons roasting in the kitchen downstairs. It was hilarious. But the point is, I can give to you a Mad Libs entertainment. Thank you, John. I can give you a Mad Libs entertainment style starting point for your site. That is to say, instead of you having to go and click here and open up this drawer and twist this knob and do this adjustment and whatever, what if you just had a form that you or your client can use? It has the very limited number of fields that you need to onboard the client, put their business info in, connect their Stripe account, connect their SMTP account, get their first product set up, have a subscription membership, start the social network, maybe pick the primary colors. In other words, a quick launch in under an hour. And here's the big part. Pay attention. What if I did at least once a week, maybe twice, a live event where you or your client could just go there and follow along the Mad Libs? And if you got stuck, just say, Spence, hold on. What does it mean by an adjective? What do you mean by a verb? Okay. That is the ideal way for me to scale, instead of Spence requiring you or the client to go out and buy the hands-on support or a VIP, that you can get the client or yourself to a fully functional site in under an hour with the personal support that I can do one-to-many. Because in the past, I've done webinars when I was at the peak of my generation 2 of this idea, before all the page builders and all this new stuff. I had webinars. I had 80, 100, 120 people. I think the biggest I ever had was 300 and something people when I did a partnership with the bookkeeper guy. We were launching a product for him. So the quick launch weekly setup with Q&A is going to be an essential new part of this package for yourself or your clients, because then I'm talking to you, Ann Stevenson, and you, John Lawler, and I'm talking to you, Julie Clark, or whomever, can send your folks there where they will get a consistent message, because you don't have to upsell this. Why? Because it also has a built-in 20% affiliate referral, $20 on the monthly or $200 on the annual. That is to say, I am thrilled for you or for anybody to point a paying customer to me to be on the Minute Launch system, and they will get $240 a year if they do it monthly, or $200 a year if they do the annual, again with the discount built in. Every year you could build a business doing nothing more or less than promoting the Minute Launch system, and know that you are handing your trusted relationships over to the same person that you trust at the concierge desk, Spence, who's made it my life's mission, my adult life's mission, to be the person that is trusted for saying the truth always, for having the facts always, for making it easier for human beings to live in this world always. Not cheating, not getting the best of people, not making 5-step cancellation processes. I'm talking to you, Syed Balki at Awesomotive. That's wrong. Not lying or cheating or doing other stuff, or getting yourself into a hassle with your best customers, Mullenweg. What is wrong with you guys? You're multimillionaires. This is the world that WordPress should be, the minute launch system, where people can use this incredible open source software in a way that's easy, and they can be trusting in the person who's doing it to send their relationships, to send their customers, to send their family members, and know that it's always private and owned and controlled, and you can leave at any time. And all of the guarantees that, by the way, even Russell Brunson can't say you can take it to go. If you or your clients build on ClickFunnels, you can't take it to go, even though mighty networks can say what they want. This is Ning. You can definitely not take it to go, and you better be careful not to piss them off, because they might have the same, Robert Gora, the attorney, come and cancel you and all your clients. Circle can't do that. Kit can't do it. High Level can't do it. Only one place can you be promised to have all the benefits and be able to take it to go at any time. WordPress and the minute launch system. Everything else, there is somebody somewhere that owns you or owns your client, even when you buy the plugins a la carte, because those individual plugin authors own you and control you. You can't take it to go. Your clients don't necessarily have the ability to go out and spend $6,500 on software, and who's going to answer their questions anymore? But here you can, because all my documentation is free. All my documentation and videos are in public. If you sent a client to me at the minute launch system, guess what? I'm going to say the same consistent thing to your clients that I say to you, so that you don't look like a schmuck that you're overcharging your client for the base platform, because the platform is there for everybody, including you, to start with. What's the difference between that and Pro? Pro, $297 a month or $29.70 a year. How do I put an AI spin on this? I'm going to tell you how I put the AI spin on it. The AI tools that I'm developing for the box that you or your client own and control, John, work inside of that box. So you or your clients get their choice of LLM license keys with an API. I mean, the major ones I've already been doing, like, OpenAI or Claude from Anthropic. You put your key in there, and all of the same tools that I've got will have these incredible, and I've already demonstrated 3 or 4 of them to you personally and publicly. We'll have all the tools that I build into the box, and will continue to work, because the software that I use, that I create, that makes that work, will continue to work even if they leave. Because the relationship that I want with you and everybody else is one where you want to be with me, not that I force you to be with me. Just like in human relationships, there's no friend when you lock somebody in a cage, Hannibal Lecter. Okay? It doesn't work that. Good morning, Cecil. It is not the relationship that I ever thought of or would ever have. I want everybody to flock to me and to send their customers and their clients and their friends to me. Why? Because this is how I can scale this to my personal goal. I'd like to see this grow to 1,700, 2,000 or more people in the next 12 months. I think it's possible. I already have a good head start on that. I don't see why it's not possible, except for one thing. I can't scale me. I already am seeing the signs of that, because so many of you guys have been taking me up on the personal hands-on support and the VIP. My back, my legs, my knees, my eyes, my ear. I can't sit in front of the computer that long. I have to build something where I do one-to-many. Hence, introducing this new quick launch weekly setup. I can scale me in a once or twice a week, 1 or 2 hour session, and then have guests. My great friend, my brother, Vincent DePinto, the graphic artist genius, is going to be one of the people. I've been speaking to many of you about participating who have your own skill sets, because if we're all using the same system that I'm curating, I can grow a team of people that will have all the specialties necessary that will be bolt on for any of you to use for yourself and your clients. The difference in the Pro is really an economical scaling thing. You can see it right away. It's the same software, unlimited use, unlimited email support. I want to clarify, just like with Rocket.net, I am not going to be speaking to 10 of your clients. It's just one of you is going to be emailing me questions about any of your 10 clients or 100 clients or however many things you buy. That's how I can scale that. I can't divide a $97 a month into $29 a month and be talking to your individual people myself. Can't do that. For that, you'd have to have them buy their own 97 account. But I can talk to you about you growing a business that has 1,000 customers all paying through either your pro or the startup individually. Launch Club, of course, that's all the same. Quick launch, weekly setup, and Q&A, of course, that's the same. You're going to get more use out of it than you would in the 97 because I'll be able to show you all these cool business things where you can grow a business like I have using the very same tools that I have because of the things that I've developed and tested, one of which is really important in a second. Here's the biggest difference. This includes 10 hosting accounts. So I'm throwing in the value of 10 accounts that you can use at any time or not use at all. It doesn't make a difference because the other value is this, the client management and sales dashboard. I'm effectively going to be cloning what I use to run the Minute Launch system, WP Launchify, all those custom tools, the techniques, the marketing, everything else. You only get that if you're going for this. And guess what? You're not going to get it if you pay me monthly. I'm not giving away. Listen, I got to hold something back here. I mean, come on, let's be honest. I'm not going to give you all my insider secrets for 1 month at $297, then bye-bye Charlie. You're going to pay me $29.70, which, by the way, is 2/3 less. I mean, 40% less than if you paid me $5,000 for the VIP. And I still don't give you for the VIP that stuff because the VIP is me doing conversations, hands-on work, building stuff like I'm building right now for many of you, including Julie and John and so forth. That's a different service. This is a commoditized, scalable service that I will be giving you my insider secret sauce, tools, management, sales dashboard stuff that allows you to sell your own sites, to sell your own solutions, to manage the automations, to do all that stuff. So Pro is for somebody that has clients. It's a huge value if it's just ordinary clients, but it's an even better value if you just pay it up front. It's the same money. You're still going to get your airline miles, put it on your credit card, get 3,000 miles, use that to buy your kid, a treat. And then you'll get all the insider stuff that you won't get if you're paying me on any of these other 3 options. This is what will be in addition to, and I haven't put it up here yet, but I'm going to show you. My hands-on stuff will still exist. Okay. But I'm trying to move away from it. I am trying to move away from hourly calls or 1 week sprint, 2 week sprint, or VIP. I love these. They're mostly my bread and butter these days. But my body, my transformed body, realizes it can't sit here and scale a 2,000 person, business with me doing VIP calls. Can't do it. I had to do it to get here, but I can't keep doing it. I've learned enough now and will continue to learn enough now to scale a team of people who are doing the same concierge level of support. I am going to still be in charge and I'm going to still be hands in, but I don't want to do so much of this as a business model. This is the kind of thing that I had a blast doing and continue to do, but it's not going to be possible to grow where I think this can go. If I go with this, maybe we can have in a year from now a conversation about, remember when you guys joined me on this? Okay. Where's all of this going with you? Most of you guys have already gone all in with me, and I love you for that. So I'm not asking you in specific terms for anything, but I want to introduce you to what's this mean for you as an opportunity. Number one, you could just be selling your clients or people on any of these affiliate options. If you just sold the 97 a month, that's $20. That's each person you send. It's $240 a year. 10 people, 2,400. 100 people, 24,000 people. Dollars. So 100 people you send, $24,000 a year of revenue. That's a car. If you do the paid up front, you can take your $200 up front. Now, obviously with affiliate programs, because I have a refund, it's 30 days refund window and 30 days after that to pay out, but no big deal. You're 60 days behind once the wheels get turning. Keep sending people along. This is even better. You could get $600 a year if you do the upfront plan, plus you get the client management benefit for your customer, or they can just pay monthly and they get $720. You get $720, $720 a year times 10, 7,200 times 100, $72,000 a year just by sending folks to use what is the same retail cost of ClickFunnels or of Kajabi or Kartra or Kit or Go High Level or and so forth. And best of all, we didn't even do the calculator. We didn't do the calculator. The customer is paying $29.70 a year, let's say. They're getting $6,500 of software. They're getting access to a concierge hello and all of the weekly information, the Q&A, the hands-on, the unlimited email support. What is that worth exactly? Well, I'll tell you what it's worth. It's worth $300 an hour. It's worth $5,000 a month. So you're already ahead by like $1,400 a month, or your client is ahead. What can you spend that money on? Well, actually more, $2,030 a month. What can you spend that on? You could spend it on hands-on support. You could spend it on one of my early team members like Vince DePinto's incredible graphic arts skills. Or maybe if it's somebody in this audience, I don't want to say their names, but some of you I've spoken to about it, maybe it's to pay them with their expertise to help you. Because my intention is to grow this into a benefit for all. Unlike these other people that I mentioned, who've grown teams that work under them and do these kind of things that are not customer friendly. I want this to be an ecosystem that is self-sustaining. That is to say, I actually saw about a new car coming out. It's called, I think, the Frame or the Block or something. Help me out. Jack, do you know what that car was called? Slate, I think it was called. It's a car that's like an e-car that's snapped together modular. And in doing so, there's going to be all these aftermarket companies and people who can just build anything they want to snap onto these cars. That's the world we live in. And when you combine this with AI, Julie, if you're able to, Julie, I'm working with right now, we are doing the craziest thing with vibe construction, vibe coding. I'm building with Julie this crazy new business product for her and her business idea that's already proven to have an audience, vibe style. We get on Zoom, we chit chat, we talk about our families, talk about my back, talk about her family, talk about this, talk about that. We build it on the fly. And we have done more in the time we've been together than it would have been if I just went in the back room and started grinding away for all this time. So with the combination of the updated tools, the AI, me being the concierge, curating it, you getting everything I have, being able to do this at the low end, the high end, referring clients or doing it yourself. There's no way you don't have something that fits with you. Okay? It's impossible. What am I asking of you guys? Well, if you're curious and interested, join me. Join me at one of these levels. Join me either by, if you've not done so and you want to, with the VIP, come join me. These links, by the way, don't work yet. They'll be hooked up today. Join me for the $29.70 a year and come on in so I can build with you and further develop the client management sales dashboard, because I don't have users other than myself doing it. I'm going to definitely need some early adopters. And I'm sure if it works out, this will pay for itself. Otherwise, get some of the people in your audience on board. Like Ann and I were talking yesterday. She has plenty of people she's already sending in for the $97 a month. Just send them this direction. And I will be publishing this weekend the quick launch weekly setup Q&A schedule where anybody can come for free. If you got the minute launch system, you can do it. They can just follow along. I'll have the first Mad Libs. We'll be able to show and demonstrate, and I'll perfect how to get people up and running. And if they have the experience like Megan had, maybe I'll be getting a postcard. Maybe you'll be getting a postcard. Because my dream is not to be winning. My dream is not to be right. My dream is to be factually correct. And the facts as I see them is the world is unbelievably racing towards human beings are the only differentiator for getting things done versus AI. In other words, if you think you're going to build a business today that's just strictly, no human interaction, you're wrong, because the AI will always do it better. You can build an AI business, but then you have to become an expert, God bless you, at AI. You have to have the systems and tools to become competitive in AI. You know what you don't have to be really competitive with? Yourself. Why? Because you are unique. I'm unique. We are human beings, unique. And if we help each other, if I help you to help your clients and your friends and vice versa, we as human beings will have an amazing, beautiful world that allows us all to do these cool, clever, creative things that the technology has always promised without it being owned and controlled by billionaire, trillionaire oligarchs who lock you into a system and then take it all away from you. And even in the open source world of WordPress, we can have the WordPress as a service that I have always dreamed of and talked of for all these years. And Kurt, if you're still around, Kurt and I would do shows together. I talked about this 3 years ago, then 2 years ago, then a year ago, right, brother? Kurt is one of my best friends in the WordPress community. This is what I always dreamed of, and it's now a reality. And I've got hundreds and hundreds of you already using it to prove that it's working. We just need to go to the next level. I hope you'll join me. I hope you share this with everybody and anybody you know. This will be live on the site, I promise you, this weekend. And if you have any questions, you can reach me at help@WP I love you all. I thank you all. I really, really believe in the power of intent and directing my energy into this thing, because this is just the culmination of probably my entire life as an entrepreneur, and certainly the last 20 years in WordPress. This is a natural fit for who I am as a human being, as a spiritual being trying to have this human existence. And I know that you can succeed at doing the same things that I've done here for myself and for other people if you believe the same. I hope you'll join me. See you guys next week. Have a great weekend.